Mwito, the president has called for a Kenya Kwanza parliamentary group meeting. And we all know anytime the head of state calls for a meeting just before something important, a decision is made, whether at the National Assembly, it's always one, to whip them to vote a certain way or to go a certain direction. But for this time, the MPs, particularly those from UDA party, have said the president should not intervene. So what is the timing of this parliamentary group meeting, if at all the head of state is not supposed to intervene and, for lack of a better word, save his deputy?
Holding a parliamentary group meeting today is tactical. Tactical in the sense that the president would like the Mount Kenya people to feel that, hey, I had tried to save him, but it didn't work. Your leaders decided. You understand? So he thinks it's a way that would earn him some, a little favor with the members of the Mount Kenya community. And Mount Kenya community knows that if you were to speak, you'd have spoken long time ago. Because when you see, if it's like what example of a feud in a marriage, and you see one of them go to the rooftop to scream from there, it means beneath there's fire burning. It's too hot to handle. And when you see the deputy president running public and making, and pleading with the people, so that the president at least can hear and make a move. That started way early this year. So it means if the president was to do something, he would have done something then.
Well, he was out of the country.
No. I'm saying if he was to do way early this year, when the deputy president began to complain that things are not right, that's around May, April. Now, we saw that during the Gen Z meetings, there were accusations, they went parliamentary group meeting, they received money, blah, blah, blah. Today, maybe it could be topped up to 500,000. If 100,000 is making them go gaga, then I think 500,000 would do them.
Well, those are just allegations.
No, it's allegations. No, it's allegations. It's allegations when you put one and one together, because if no one has taken any steps against the 100,000 claims by the opposition leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, then it means it could be true, because it could be real, because he also has members of parliament who would tell him what is going on in parliament. Yes. So the 100,000 shillings could be there. So I can multiply it to 500,000 and say how crazy these people might be, and without caring whether Kenyans know or understand or feel anything about what they are about to take to parliament and present as accusations or allegations against, accusations against the deputy president.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. When they had what they had and thought things were actually going to run their way, they didn't know that Kenyans were watching, even at the bringing down of the finance bill. It was shut down by the masses, because they thought masses don't understand. Masses won't take any steps, won't take any action. No, masses took action. Not that they have never been seeing, but they took action when this anger and rage had actually reached the brim. Now, when we are looking at what is happening today, the parliamentarians might go and meet, but they've been speaking in public, and the president has said nothing. There's nothing he's going to say different from what he ought to have said before. Secondly, if the motion is already planned for tomorrow, then it means it will be presented to Parliament. The president can save the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua.
If he wanted to.
If he wanted to, he would have saved him. And I don't know whether it will still go for the president's, assent for once they make the decision, whether he agrees or not to it. I don't know whether it goes to that point.
No, it doesn't.
This doesn't. It's not
because
like
it's not a bill.
It's not a bill.
Yes.
Thank you.
What will happen once they pass it? It will go to the Senate.
It will go to the Senate.
Yes.
Senate will have to discuss it.
Yes.
And since the same article, which is for impeaching the deputy president, at clause 2, it tells you that they will have to borrow, or they have to refer to Article 144 and 145, which is on the impeachment of the president. They were not specific on which clause to look into, so that they could use to modify, which means it gives credibility to anyone who presents a case to court if they don't follow the two articles to the latter. The only modification they're supposed to do is to replace the name president with deputy president. That's all they're supposed to do to Article 144 and 146, which means the Chief Justice will also form a tribunal, should also form a tribunal to look into this matter. But again, Article 144 would be looking into incapacitation, while the impeachment bit will be looked at in the Article 145.
Right.
So again, don't forget that impeaching Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua means that the Mount Kenya people power of their votes will now dwindle, and it will have less impact, because the next, if it succeeds, the next person to be appointed as Deputy President will be a presidential appointee. While we were doing the constitution review, we had considered what especially President Moi had done with the various, with the several vice presidents he had. He was sacking them even at the roadside. And that's the kind of presidency I'm trying to see now. Once a presidential appointee comes, he becomes answerable and works to the whims of the president, not to the people. But the deputy president who is elected on a ballot during an electioneering moment, it means that person is answerable to the people. And that's why you see the current deputy president is not a pushover, because one, he came in with interests of masses. The masses that pushed him into that position is not the will or the wish of the president. So whoever would have been appointed from Mount Kenya would have had this kind of support. So it's going to be a puppet deputy president if the voted in deputy president is going to be ousted by impeachment. The one who comes will just be a puppet. And if it's going to come from Mount Kenya, rest assured, Mount Kenya will actually reject that, and they will move their way. They will still be in government, but they'll move their way. Meaning, come 2027, right now, after tomorrow, Tuesday, Mount Kenya people are beginning to plan their ways, because the trust for William Ruto is now dead. Don't forget that 2012, the scars of post-election violence were still fresh with the Mount Kenya people, who actually suffered a great deal that time of the massacres. And the accusations that were leveled against Rift Valley and their kingpins and their leaders, including William Ruto himself, was still fresh in 2012. But the fact that Uhuru Kenyatta appointed William Ruto to become his running mate, having tried Musalia Mudavadi, when William Ruto accepted, they had to forgive. They had to decide to forgive. Now, when you take somebody's kindness for foolishness, and that person realizes that this is what you're taking me for, then it may not be business as usual. And I'm telling you, come 2027, starting from tomorrow, whether Rigiji is taken out of the office of deputy presidency or is retained, that mistrust begins to germinate. And which means that the relationship between William Ruto and Mount Kenya voters is definitely going to change. Because I'm supporting this with what some of the members of parliament have said. Nyinyi wa Kikuyu nyinyi. And you know, they had this kind of tones, you know, voiced during the post-election, you know. And they had these kind of things, the drums being beaten that time. So I'm saying that the message and the signals they're sending as a community is unfortunate. Secondly, Kenya is a community that is formed with tribes. USA is formed with race and origins. Hispanics from wherever, Black Americans from wherever. So they do it with race.
Right.
If you go to England, it's class. The lords, the whoever, there is that clique that says, and there are these common people who just say their bit and that's it. Now, come to Somalia, it's about families and clans. So we should stop likening ourselves to anybody else. We are for a formation of tribes, and we should respect ourselves as so, and cohabit one with another, and purpose and decide to love one another, not demonize what is being demonized by people who don't even are not even able to handle their matters, whether it's the Americans or the British.
Right.
It's up to us now to know that yes, we are made up of tribes, and we should love and respect one another.